20 years ago, I remember it was, this big sensation. We've got Africanized bees now in Arizona. And then about 10 years ago, we had talked to another beekeeper. It's like, they're all Africanized. It's not a big deal. You just got to know how to work with them. And then, 10 years later, where are we at?
Okay, well, yeah, not beekeepers, but Africanized bees came here in the early 90s. They originated from some beekeepers bringing them to Brazil to increase their honey production. And they didn't understand that African bees have certain behaviors different than European bees, and they thought they could control that, and they couldn't. And so they basically started swarming, because African bees do multiple swarms, which means they are reproducing their colonies many more times than European bees do. So they're spreading and mating with the other bees, and they're a dominant species. The drones are faster. They mate for longer periods. And then they also take over hives very, very often. So the reason we don't like to have them in our hives, that we don't like to keep African bees, is because they're very defensive. So if they're out on flowers, you wouldn't know that it's not a European honeybee. But when you start messing with their home, they get really, really defensive. So instead of a European bee sending out a couple bees to kind of warn you, tap you, and be like, hey, stay away, they'll send out half the colony and chase you down the road. And it's pretty scary. And so if you've got that kind of a colony in your backyard, they've been known to attack entire flocks of chickens and kill them. I hate to think of a child being outside, or dogs, horses. So you really have to be careful, and that's why we don't like keeping them in a neighborhood setting. But about 98% of the bees' wild colonies in Arizona are Africanized at this point.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona home.